A top data security official at the Social Security Administration has resigned, warning that the personal information of nearly every American may be at risk. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about names, social security numbers, and financial futures. Here's what happened, who's involved, and why it matters. The whistleblower is Charles Borges. Until recently, he was the SSA's chief data officer, hired in January 2025 after years in federal cybersecurity and decorated service in the United States Navy. A few months into the job, Borges says he uncovered what he calls a massive potential data breach. When he pushed for answers, he claims he was forced out, what lawyers call a constructive discharge. He has now filed a formal whistleblower complaint. At the center of his allegation is the Numident database, every Social Security application ever filed. It holds full names, Social Security numbers, dates and places of birth, and parents' names. Borges says employees from another government group, the Department of Government Efficiency, known by its acronym DOGE, made a complete copy of Numident and moved it to a vulnerable cloud computing environment outside the SSA's direct control. So, who is DOGE? Created during the Trump administration with input from Elon Musk, the department's mission is to cut waste and eliminate fraud across federal programs. To do that, DOGE embeds its analysts inside agencies, including the SSA. Their task at Social Security: sift through massive data sets to hunt for fraudulent benefit payments. That mission has been controversial from day one. Giving an outside group unfettered access to such sensitive data alarmed privacy advocates, unions, and even SSA leaders. In February, the acting head of Social Security resigned after refusing DOGE's request for the database. Advocacy groups sued to block the transfer, and a federal judge sided with them in March. The case quickly reached the Supreme Court, which reversed the lower court in June and cleared the way for DOGE to review the data. Soon after, the full Numident copy was created, the very act Borges says turned a secure trove into a potential gold mine for hackers. According to Borges, the copy was made without the usual oversight from SSA security teams. There was no independent system to track who accessed the data, and an SSA IT official had already labeled the proposed cloud environment high risk.
Borges says that whenever he asked for details or attempted to oversee DOGE's work, agency leadership rebuffed or ignored him. The Social Security Administration disputes all of this. A spokesperson says the data is stored in a long-standing environment walled off from the Internet, and that the agency is not aware of any compromise. They declined to discuss Borges's departure, calling it a personnel matter. In his resignation letter, Borges describes a workplace clouded by panic and dread. He claims that after raising security concerns, he was met with exclusion, isolation, and a culture of fear, leaving him unable to do his job legally or ethically. Remaining in the post, he says, would have made him responsible for a breach he had no power to prevent. So where does that leave the rest of us? On one side, a decorated cybersecurity expert insists that the personal data of 300 million Americans is sitting in a poorly secured cloud bucket. On the other, the Social Security Administration insists everything is locked down and there's no cause for alarm. The clash highlights a broader tension inside government: the drive to modernize and curb fraud versus the equally vital duty to safeguard personal information. For now, the dispute is playing out through whistleblower channels and, potentially, future court battles.
What's at stake is nothing less than the integrity of the nation's most comprehensive civilian database and the trust Americans place in the agency that safeguards it.